Hello. How is everybody? I believe you are well. I welcome you back to my YouTube channel. It's me, JEMIENAFTALY, on the pediatric world. Remember, your channel whereby we keep updating you. The channel is all about the medical, the kids' welfare, the medical problems, and we try to find solutions. We talk to mothers here. We provide the knowledge, the know-how on the common illnesses affecting children while growing up. And here we talk in a language that everybody is able to understand. So we want to be so much layman so that everybody is able to understand. So I welcome you back again. And in today's episode is we are finalizing on diarrhea and vomiting and dehydration, remember? So today we are going to do on dysentery. Dysentery, into brackets, bloody diarrhea. This is what we call dysentery. So let's, without further ado, go into it. So what is dysentery by definition? Like we said, it is bloody diarrhea. So this is the presence of loose frequent motions with visible blood. Remember, the other one was just watery diarrhea. We didn't have blood. So this is a difference. Here in dysentery, we are having blood in stool. So this is what we are calling dysentery. So the single most common causative microorganism, we call it Shigella species. So these are bacteria. It is the most commonly involved in causing this bloody diarrhea, the Shigella species. Other causes are other bacteria like E. coli. We have E. coli. Others are Salmonellas. We also have Entamoeba histolytica. Remember, this is the one that causes amoebiasis, very common. So it is again, we are seeing that again it causes bloody diarrhea. So these are the common causative microorganisms. Treatment, how do we treat this bloody diarrhea? We treat by use of, just like in acute watery diarrhea, there's no difference. We are going to see the difference. So the mainstay treatment is it involves rehydration therapy, just like the acute watery diarrhea. We need to introduce, to give more fluids. This is the rehydration, remember. So it is going to involve rehydration therapy, use of zinc, remember, use of zinc in all cases of diarrhea. And now on top of this, the difference now is that we are going to use antibiotics. Here we are going to use antibiotics. Remember, in acute watery diarrhea, we never used antibiotics anywhere, and this is where I need to clarify. This is where we need to get it correct. So it's not in all cases. You find when babies are taken to hospitals, the first thing is giving antibiotics. No, if there is no blood in stool, if the diarrhea is not bloody, there is no use of antibiotics. Please note that. So we only use zinc and the rehydration therapy, and so this is it. Please note that it is very, very important. So here we are saying in dysentery we are giving the fluid therapy, we are giving the zinc, and also we are giving antibiotics. So then, which antibiotics do we use? What antibiotics do we use in this dysentery? So the first line drug of treating dysentery is a drug that I know you are familiar with. We call it ciprofloxacin. Ciprofloxacin is the first line in treatment of dysentery, treatment of this bloody diarrhea. So what dosage do we give? We normally give 15 milligrams per kg twice daily for 3 days. Remember, in all cases, in children, we do dosages as per kg of the baby, and also the age. So these two we always use. It's not like in adults. We have to calculate dosages according to the kgs of this baby and also the age. So we are saying the ciprofloxacin is given at 15 milligrams per kg twice daily for 3 days. And if this doesn't work, we have a second line drug That is the most commonly used one, and you might find people going into it the first thing, and this should not be the case. We should first start with ciprofloxacin. So the other second line drug in treating this bloody diarrhea is a drug we call ceftriaxone. Ceftriaxone we give at a dose of 50 milligrams again per kg, twice daily, also for 3 days. So we are giving this as a second line drug. So don't go rushing. Even the professional caregivers, you should not go rushing into giving ceftriaxone before we start with ciprofloxacin. So these are the antibiotics of choice. We have mentioned them. And while giving antibiotic, it is very good to note the antibiotic sensitivity. It should be known. The antibiotic sensitivity should be known. And so that while treating this bloody diarrhea. So then, well done. Imagine this is it about dysentery, the bloody diarrhea. We have seen how to treat it, just like the other acute bloody diarrhea. But in this case now, we are adding antibiotics. So this is a difference, note that. So well done. Now, in summary, imagine we are done. In summary of diarrhea and vomiting and dehydration, what points should we summarize? Should we note? So the first point, we are just summarizing these things that we have said before. So the first point is that small number of signs are the most useful in classification, in classifying the severity of dehydration, and that we saw. Remember the WHO and the MOH, they use the clinical signs to classify the severity of dehydration in children. So this should be carefully assessed in all children with diarrhea. That is number one point. That's our number one point that we needed to know. We are just summarizing, I'm saying so. The other point we should remember is children with severely impaired circulation. Remember those children with hypovolemic shock. So children with hypovolemic shock and also the severe dehydration should be promptly treated using IV fluids. Remember we said the two classifications we use IV fluids, the hypovolemic shock and also the severe dehydration. We use IV fluids, the intravenous fluid, the ones we put the fluid into the vein. So this is and we mentioned the fluid of choice, which we said is Ringer's lactate again. So remember that. Another point to remember while treating these diarrheas and vomiting and also the dehydrations is that in some dehydration, the other two classifications, remember, in some dehydration and no dehydration, we gradually administer the ORS, the oral rehydration salt. This also we said we're just summarizing. So the ORS, the most common, and we said how to give it so slowly to prevent the babies from vomiting. Another point to note is that when treating these dehydrations, classify the severity. You classify the severity that we said using the specific fluid. Another point to remember is the zinc sulfate. Zinc sulfate should be administered in all cases, in all children with diarrheas. In all cases, you have seen even in dysentery, in this bloody diarrhea we have just talked about, it should be used in all cases. And in our last episode, there's an episode we saw the advantages, the usage, why we give zinc sulfate, the advantages of using zinc sulfate together with the ORS. So in all cases of diarrheas, zinc sulfate should be considered. It should be used. Then another point is that to note is that children with dysentery, the ones with bloody diarrhea, should be treated with either ciprofloxacin or ceftriaxone in severe cases. So we say the first line is ciprofloxacin, and if this the baby does not improve, now we go to second line if the severity of this bloody diarrhea is high. So we go to direct to ceftriaxone. So well done. We are done with diarrheas and vomiting, my people. I know you have learned. We are done now. So you have seen how serious these diarrheas are. So no need of assuming them. So the baby should not diarrhea for more than 2 times when you're at home and you're not taking these babies to hospital. I don't know, people underrate diarrheas, and it is very, very serious. We have seen that. The consequences is dehydration, and we see if they get so much dehydrated with the classification, we end up having the hypovolemic shock. And this is the last stage before the baby goes into shock. The baby collapses before the baby collapses. So it is very, very important. Thank you so much for staying with me. So thank you again for keeping tuned. We shall continue learning together. Remember to ask any question, any bothering questions. Also, I encourage you people to write to me the topic that you may find and you feel like it is important we talk about. So pin it down there. So, and even my email is provided in the end of every episode. Also my contacts. My FB page is JEMIENAFTALY, and also just JEMIENAFTALY all through. So feel free to interact, feel free to ask questions. To those that have not subscribed yet, please hit on the subscribe button. That red button written subscribe, please hit on it. Also hit on the notification bell so that you are able to know every time I post a new video. And don't miss out. If you're new again, I welcome you to the family. So share these videos. Remember also to share the videos so that they may reach. Remember, the aim of this channel, we want to improve. We want to have healthy babies. We want to improve the quality of these children. We want to involve you people, the caregivers, in managing and treating these babies. So we want to note the problems early by having this knowledge that I'm providing here. So please share them so that many people can get help, can reach these videos. Thank you so much. Leave a comment down below and on anything, and I will really appreciate. Thank you so much. Thank you for listening to me. Thank you for your time. Till next time, bye-bye.